criminals? Of course, nobody asked those kinds of questions about any other prohibition in the criminal law. I think the reason that people focus on this is because the Second Amendment is different. There is a right to keep and bear arms, and that's why I try to make the case that the preamble also tells us that there's regulatory authority. We need to balance the two, and that process can't be done with integrity unless we have the facts. And it's my hope that in the coming decades, if nothing else, the political process will operate sufficiently well to allow us to understand the facts. Thank you.
Correct one small misimpression. For several years, there have been appropriations riders preventing certain agencies in the government, primarily the Centers for Disease Control, from advocating gun control measures. It may be that they've informally taken that to mean that they can't do any gun control research. I don't know. But even if they did, or even if the federal government, even if Congress forbade the federal government from conducting research on gun control, that would not be the end of research. There's been lots of research done by lots of people who are not the federal government for many decades. They can continue doing it. It's not the case that research doesn't get done unless the federal government does it itself. And so I think that's just a bit of a red herring. There's a tremendous amount of research. The problem with the research is that so much of it is ultimately indeterminate in its conclusions by any honest reading.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our forum. We'd like to take a moment to thank our contributors before we leave. Please hold your applause until the end. Join me in extending a special thanks to the Office of the President and Provost, the Office of Government and Community Relations, the School of Law, the Department of Political Science, the Center for Policy Studies, the panelists, and the 2013 Constitution Day Student Committee, and the advisors William Dahl, Jonathan Enton, Andrew Lucker, and Laura Tartikoff. At this time, you're all invited to proceed upstairs to a reception in the Blackacre Lounge. The speakers will join us upstairs to answer any questions that remain as we continue to celebrate the 226th anniversary of our founding charter. Thank you very much for coming.